The sky is a bright, clean blue. I can hear birdsong. There are peacocks in the streets and flamingos in the marshes, masses of them after many, many years. And all this is in Mumbai. Can you believe it? And yet, these are difficult days. All over the world, humans are fighting for their lives, locked up in their homes, in hospitals, scared, lonely, traumatized, even hungry. One would think a great war has broken out or a flood, and yet it is a tiny virus that has brought us to our knees, has taught us our place. So, for these difficult days, here is a story that may show us the way. Originally, the story was written for a program called Sangati that is run in all the municipal schools in Mumbai and some Adivasi residential schools around Mumbai. I'm part of the group that made this program, and we call ourselves the Avehi Abacus Project.
The Mouse Princess's Wedding. Once upon a time, there was a mouse. Not an ordinary mouse, but the king of all mice. And a very good king he was too, generous and just. His kingdom was full of happy, contented mice, and his capital was a sight to behold. There were sparkling, clean, well maintained roads, tree lined avenues, flower filled gardens, charming little cottages, and impressive mansions. The Mouse King had a daughter who was very dear to him. She was his pet, she was his darling, the apple of his eye. You're getting the point, I hope. What I mean to say is that he would do anything for her. For example, if she were to say, she wouldn't actually say, she was too smart to say such a silly thing, but if she were to say, Papa, get me the moon, the dear Mouse King would leap toward the sky. If she asked for a pearl necklace, he would dive into the deepest ocean to find the best pearls for his little jewel. He would never refuse her anything except for one thing. In the matter of her wedding, he refused to budge. What happened was this: the Mouse Princess was in love. There was a mouse she had gone to school with, not a prince or anything, but a nice sort of chap who loved inventing new things. He'd spend hours in his laboratory, and when he came up with some outrageous, thoroughly useless thing, he'd run to the princess to show it off. He was the mouse for her. She loved his disheveled hair, his sniffy red nose, his bright eyes behind his oversized glasses. She loved him and wanted to marry him. Never! For the first time, the Mouse King thundered at his darling daughter. Never! You marry that good for nothing, runny nosed junk collector? Never! I'll find you the best. Just you wait and see. I'll get the best, the most impressive bridegroom in the world for my precious princess. Saying this, he stormed out of the palace, but then stopped to ponder where would he find such a bridegroom? Who was the best in the world, the most impressive, the most powerful? Just then, a herd of elephants went past. His eyes shone. He leapt up and ran toward the leader of the elephants. My lord, he said, bowing low, I have a beautiful daughter. I want the best bridegroom for her. You are the most powerful, the biggest of all animals. Who would be better for my daughter than you? Will you do her the honor of marrying her? Elephant shook his head. Flapping his huge ears, he said, My friend, you are mistaken. I am not the biggest animal in the world. The whale in the ocean is much bigger than I am. He is more worthy of your daughter. You should ask Whale. Eagerly, the Mouse King ran toward the sea. He spoke to the Whale King who had just come up for air. What did you say? Brrr, spluttered Whale when he heard the mouse's request. Did you call me the biggest, the most powerful? Well, you are mistaken. I am not the most powerful. In fact, I am nothing without water. I can't even live for 5 minutes out of it. Water is certainly more powerful than I. The mouse turned toward the water and asked if he would marry the mouse princess. The sound of water's laughter rippled over the ocean. What, me? The most powerful? You must be joking. Did you not know that the sun's rays heat me up and turn me into vapor? I just disappear in front of the sun. He is the most powerful. Why don't you ask Sun to marry your daughter? The Mouse King trotted off toward the horizon and caught up with the sun just as he was setting for the day. Sun smiled and said, I wish I could help, but I am not the most powerful. Look how the cloud covers my face and hides me behind him. All my radiance, all my energy just fades away when cloud is near. He is the most powerful. The Mouse King scanned the sky. Sure enough, there was the huge dark cloud that the sun was so afraid of. The Mouse King heaved a sigh of relief. His search was at an end. Nothing could be bigger than this cloud. Oh no, thundered Cloud. I am not good enough for your daughter. How can I be when I am not even master of my own movements? A small gust of wind can blow me away in a jiffy. Wind is infinitely more powerful than me. Just then, a gust of wind huffed and puffed the cloud away. The mouse ran away behind the wind, a difficult thing to do, you will agree, so he was panting as he made his request. No, 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 1,000 times no, said the wind. Who told you that I am the most powerful in the world? Do you know what my job is? Blowing all over the world. Do you know why I can hardly do my job? Because of Mountain. He stands in my path, and there is nothing I can do to make him budge. I fail completely when confronted by him. Wouldn't you say he is more powerful than I? But the Mouse King was surprised by the Mountain's answer to his request. Mountain said in a deep, resonant rumble, Oh, my dear friend, I wish I could help you, but alas, I am not what you are looking for. I am certainly not the most powerful. Look at me. My sides have been eaten away to make man's roads. My feet are covered with his fields. Man seems to be much more powerful than me. Why don't you ask him? Sure enough, at the foot of the mountain, man was tilling his fields. As soon as he saw the Mouse King coming toward him, he began to run. Mouse King could not understand why man so afraid of him and shouted out his request. Man stopped in his tracks, turned an astonished face towards the Mouse King and squeaked, You call me the most powerful? You who reduce my labor to naught? You who eat your way through my crop? You frighten my wife and send my children hungry to bed? You are more powerful than me. Any day, any way, you are the greatest. Oh, my lord, spare my crop. Let my children eat well for once. As man blabbered on, The Mouse King clapped a hand to his brow. Oh, how stupid I have been. Why did I not realize what has been under my nose all this while? What will my darling daughter think of me? Saying so, he rushed home. What did the Mouse King suddenly realize? Is there any answer to the question, who is the greatest?
So, what do you think the Mouse King did? Who did his darling daughter marry? Yes, you're right. She did wed her red nosed, disheveled haired sweetheart. There were lots of guests at the wedding: elephant, water, wind, sun, cloud, mountain, all came. The whale couldn't leave the water, but he sent his best wishes. And then there was a very important guest at the wedding: Mother Earth. She came and brought along a special gift: her healing touch and a mantra. We are all part of the great web of life. He who breaks a single strand destroys the web.